Many have lost faith in marketing agencies, bloated retainers, black box tactics, and the trust us results wore thin. The smartest agencies did not defend it. They're evolving. Tom DiCipio, managing partner, client advisor at Impact, to discuss the agency of the future. Welcome to INNSync Show, Tom. Thanks.
Thanks, Cory. Thanks for having me here.
So excited for you to be here because I think you're going to give us a lot of good information. So let's get started. I'm going to ask the first question.
Okay.
Why is the future of agencies about guidance, not execution?
Yes, the big question that I know a lot of agencies are asking themselves right now. And we have to point to the elephant in the room, right? We have this looming technology, AI, that is rapidly advancing, both in production of things, but in looking to the future, the execution of those things. And so agencies are battling two different fronts right now. We're battling this idea of more noise in the marketplace, which makes it harder for agencies to keep doing the things they've always done in the past that have worked, next to the next stage of what AI is going to bring for us, which is human action, but in technology format. So agents going out, creating articles, creating ad campaigns, doing the reporting, taking care of all the things that a lot of times are done by humans today. These two fronts coming together are going to make it quite difficult for agencies to navigate that landscape right now.
Yeah, AI is doing the work for us. But what we're finding is a lot of people don't have the strategy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting you say it because we still get cold emails from agencies talking about old SEO tactics and the same playbook. And so that resistant to change, I could not agree with you more. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how has Impact evolved to empower in-house teams?
Yeah, so a couple of different ways. The first thing is we really wanted to standardize our point of view. And that came to life in the most recent version of the book, Endless Customers, which is the...
Oh, I should have tapped mine.
This is great. This is great.
How about
Great book.
Yeah.
How do I plug? Awesome. Great guide.
Yes, and thank you. And it's really the evolution of Marcus Sheridan's first book, They Ask You Answer. And it culminates everything that we've learned in the last 5 years about coaching and training teams and our anticipation for what's coming in the next 5 to 10 years based on AI and how our buyers are changing. And so we've done our best to standardize the information and the things that we want to teach to the clients that we work with, and then also provide the structure in how we actually educate our clients on those things. So when we first started our coaching program, it was a little bit more free form. We didn't have a lot of these things standardized. And as we evolved, we really put into place process and structure for how to teach these concepts to individuals. If you all are familiar with something like EOS or entrepreneurial operating system or scaling up any sort of business framework, it's the same application for us, but just specific to sales and marketing. So that was really the evolution from concept and point of view to how we help companies actually do it.
Wonderful. Now, Susan, did you want to share a little bit of a page out of that playbook as well? In fact, we learned from that book, the framework, and exactly what you're talking about. I'm sure, Susan, you can share a little bit about what we're a bit up to.
We're so inspired by you guys, as we were talking about earlier. We both read the book. I went to the Impact Live. Just so inspired by how you guys are leading the charge. And one of the things that really stood out, not only was your systemization with the They Ask You Answer frameworks, but also how Marcus said, if create the system, then everything else will fall into place. So we came back and we were like, how can we do something similar to what Impact is doing? So we created the WINS framework that we walk every client through, and it's truly changed our business because people can see the clear path moving forward. We pull in some They Ask You Answer Endless Customers frameworks in there, not frameworks as much, but we frequently asked questions. So important. Every single client, we're like, you have to have pricing, you have to have these questions, you have to address buyers where they are. So we created the WINS method, which we walk every potential client through, and then we assess at the end how we can support them moving forward. But it's been a game changer.
And great confirmation, as of this week, we beat out 3 other agencies. We were not the lowest price. And the specific thing that says, we really like your wins method framework. That resonated with us. So it really underscored that. In addition to that, Marcus said that AI Agentic loves branded processes.
Yes.
So it's been hitting on all cylinders for us. And it's a great way for us to scale. Primarily, it's Susan and I. We're really lean and mean team and do more of an advisory done with you model as we build out Lure. So thanks to you guys for the team and the leadership for that. It's truly amazing.
Yeah, of course. And I want to give a lot of that credit to obviously Marcus, who had so much input on the book, but the rest of the team at Impact, specifically Bob, because when it comes to our business partner, when it came to the idea of systematizing all of this stuff, the analogy he continued to lean on was flying the plane. The number of checks and balances that have to happen for a plane to successfully take off, have a flight, and land at the rate and success that they do it, they have to have a standardized process for that. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And that was really the guiding light for us is, can we fly the plane with this book? Can we fly the plane with our process? And it sounds like you guys are doing exactly the same thing with wins. And going back to your first question of maybe how do agencies overcome some of this agentic stuff? It's like the tools are tools. Email was once a tool that without a system or some sort of understanding or framework behind it is simply code. Yeah. So how do you wrap it inside of something like this that will actually work every time you do it?
Oh, great analogy. Definitely.
Oh, awesome. Okay, let's move on to our next question here. How do you define success when a client takes full ownership?
Yeah, so this leads right back into the endless customer system itself, because the way we know it's working is we're constantly measuring the endless customer score of the client that we're working with. And the objective is to help them get to a score of an 80. And once they're at an 80, we know they're ready for graduation, which is really about them taking full reins, full control and ownership without necessarily needing our guidance or our feedback on every little thing that they do. Now, some folks will stay on because Michael Jordan had a coach, right? And there's a level of accountability to doing this stuff. But that's how we measure. Every 90 days, we're looking at their endless customer score. Is it improving? And based on the actual score, what milestones or initiatives do we need to put in place? And when we get them to an 80, that's how we know. That's the success point.
I forgot about the scoring system. I do have my workbook from Impact Live, and you guys do a 12-month kind of thing, right? Where it's over the course of, I guess you're doing it quarterly. So we're checking in. Love it. It's so good.
Yeah, it depends. It could be an 18-month process for some, maybe 24 for some. It all depends on how fast a company is willing and able to move. But yes, it's over a long period of time.
Yeah, perfect.
So Susan, we talked about a certification process at the end. Now, one thing that we did pick up, and this has really helped alleviate a lot of wrong alignment and fit, is starting with an alignment session right up front, getting those agreements so the teams are aligned right out of the gate. So their expectations are set moving forward. We've definitely found that has been helpful as well. As we're moving forward here, we can always revert back and say, hey guys, remember we talked about this? This isn't an immediate response to something we do. This is an evolving process. You have to stick with it. At the beginning, I felt that's something we also adopted in terms of helping clients really take that full ownership as well right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think your first question in all of this, which is so relevant, is what's affecting agency relationships and performance right now? Yes, AI is one, but like this transactional experience with agencies where I'm going to hire you to do stuff for me and you're going to send it over to me and I'm going to say it's good or not. And we're going to have this tension and you're my vendor. And what I hear you saying, Cory, is this idea of elevating to partnership. Like we're aligning because this is actually a transformational experience with your agency, not a transactional one where you pay me for a blog post and I give you some blog post. This is you're going to think differently about working with an agency and about how you approach your marketing, and we're going to help you do that. So
beautiful. That's a really good extension of their team. And there is one thing that I do disagree with Marcus at sometimes, and this is great because I'm going to push back a little bit. And it's our personal experience. Some of our partners we've worked with, we're the most consistent thing that they've had. They've had 5 marketing managers, admins. There's been situations where they've asked us about what a particular hotel or partner we're working with. So yes, when we're working with larger corporations and things internally, I totally get it. But I think there's still something to be said that you can still have an advisory or relationship with an agency that is so tight. And Susan, we say this all the time. Sometimes we care too much about our clients. So I understand the need to have the resources in-house to do it, but oftentimes we got to push them. And if it wasn't for us getting on Restream and filming some of it, it would never get done. And they even have somebody on property to do it. So that's where I see a little bit of a, I don't say pushback, but getting back to what you just said is when you can really become that trusted divider and extension of the team, I feel like we just don't work there. We're part of them and we're vested in their success that way. But overall, I could not agree with you on that more. Is I love that reframe from a transactional vendor, which can easily be replaced, right? Especially when you're not always the lowest price. If you're just fulfilling a service that you're asked for, what value is that? And I love this direction we're both headed. And obviously you guys taking the lead in this. And this underscores that your guys' methodology really works. We're here to say it has changed our business. 26 we're having the best year we've ever had in terms of momentum and results. So thank you for that.
Yes. Yeah, no, of course. And hey, listen, I think that idea of transformation happens or should be part of the conversation, whether or not they do it on their own or they work with an agency to help them do it for them. And I think that as we continue on and things get harder for these types of organizations, agencies, it's how can I differentiate? And we're not just doing the same thing that any other agency that's being outsourced is doing. And that's where the transformation comes in.
Yeah, one last add there. It has been really revealing. We've micro-niched now. We're in B2B hospitality, and lo and behold, we really are it. And not to toot our own horn, it's just there's not a lot of agencies that have gone all in on that. And we consistently rank as the choice, not just another choice. So niching down, micro-niching down has been something that's been very valuable because not only are we that trusted voice in that space, but we can replicate and create those systems and not reinvent the wheel. And that's where our framework really hits home. So
100%.
Thank you. Can you share a moment when a client truly took the wheel?
Yeah, it comes in so many forms, but the one that jumps out for me, probably because I'm in more of a sales position in my day-to-day. So anything sales related, like always comes back to my mind. But when I hear stories of clients whose sales teams were resistant to the things we were teaching them and the processes we wanted them to do, and 6 or 8 months later, the marketing team's getting these beautiful emails from people on sales saying, I've never closed the deal that fast before. And here's how it happened. I sent them the article you created about cost and price. They said, I've looked at 5 other websites. You're the one that taught me the most. I want to go with you. And just these ecstatic moments from sales teams. And I think some of the biggest issues that have always existed is this tension between sales and marketing. And so for me, a key moment of all of this is that, and I do this with our marketing team. You should see the number of messages I send my marketing team of just love of, oh my God, I'm so glad we have this resource. You literally saved me 5 phone calls from having with a client. It's that moment that happens.
I love it. That gave me chills because it gets me so excited. I love it because we get stories like that too. And we are starting to see some of the resistance fade. And then we had a call a couple of days ago with one of our clients we've had for many years. And she said, it is so awesome to see it working. And we're finally getting people on property to get on video and they're getting excited about it. And it's because you guys are pushing us. And that's the reason we love working with you. And we're seeing the results from it. And that just makes me just feel so good.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny that there's still that notion of silos. And I always thought that was an odd dynamic, why there was that tension. Sales should always look at marketing now, even before I was marketing. I still have that old video of Marcus of the 80% of what was sales is now marketing. And salespeople should value the marketing, especially now. That's their hardest working sales support that they have. And now I think it's coming full circle, and those light bulb moments are beginning to come on, and getting that quick feedback. And as Susan had mentioned, really highlighting the fact it is working. We need to do more of what's working and not of just circling back around or checking in emails like we did. Susan had mentioned our own inboxes are flooded with that noise. So it's refreshing to see that people are finally beginning to say, just take a step back and realize you're getting those same messages. How do you react when you're getting pitched and you're not educating, adding value in that process?
I think a lot of that starts with what is each team aiming for? And when each team might have different objectives and they're aiming for different things, it creates that tension. So it's, I generated all these leads and I gave them to you. And sales leads suck and they're not closing. When both teams are actually collaborating and they're aligned around like revenue as the single objective, then it becomes a scenario where marketing is in service of sales because sales is the voice of the prospect. So
beautiful.
That's when you start to see all that.
Yeah, wasn't there something, didn't you guys call it something when I was at Impact Live? I was like, oh, we need to change our agency to revenue optimization. I forget, there was some way that, new name, not marketing, not sales, it's revenue optimization agency or something like that.
You got revenue team.
Yeah.
One team solely focused on driving revenue.
Yep.
Yeah, in hospitality, unlike other agencies, there's 3 departments. They call it commercial strategy, marketing, sales, and revenue management. It's a very unique industry because there's a limited amount of inventory. You're selling a product that can expire, or if somebody's in it. So it's a very unique model, still very siloed, but now a lot of people are jumping on to this whole notion of commercial, which is in a sense what you just described.
Nice.
All right. Any other nuggets to share before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I have one. And it was spurred on by Dharmesh Shah many years ago. He's one of the co-founders of HubSpot. And I think he had popularized this term of solving for the human. And I've constantly rethought about that as more and more technology comes out. And as you think about it, there's so many other technical things you need to do to succeed in being found nowadays. There are things that AI is looking for that are different than the standard SEO playbook has, and vice versa. SEO is changing too. But at the end of the day, these tools, these algorithms are solving for us. They're solving for the human. So if you can aim your energy towards the human, yes, think about the technical stuff in a baseline foundational way, but solve for your customer, solve for your human, address the fears, the worries, concerns, the questions they have in order to make a successful purchase and have a good life. You continue to solve for that, the tools will eventually look at you as the resource, even if you miss some of the technical things.
Oh, so good.
Solve for the human.
Good.
Solve for the human. Love it. I see a quote image coming out of this.
Tom, before we break, can you share a little bit about your impact story and where can people find you, by the way?
Yes, I'm probably most active on LinkedIn at this point in time. And stepping back a few years to the beginning of Impact, we've been in business for about 16 years now. And I joined 6 months after Bob Ruffalo had started it. I interviewed at his kitchen table and I started working for him part-time out of his spare bedroom. And it really is like that garage business story where our first office had no doors on it and we worked off of folding tables, and there was a train next to the building and it shook the building, and we just grinded and did our best. And we discovered HubSpot. HubSpot helped us think differently about the way we were working with clients, and we became an inbound marketing agency where we were producing all the things that would draw leads in. And that worked really well for a number of years. We grew really fast as a result of it. And then we discovered this guy named Marcus Sheridan at Inbound. And I want to say 2012 or 2013. He was talking about how he was teaching companies how to do inbound marketing for themselves and sharing the results that he was getting for these clients. And it was light years beyond anything we'd ever been able to do or anything we'd ever been able to see. And we followed him for years. And in 2018, we merged our businesses together and shifted from becoming a do-it-for-you inbound agency to an educational coaching and training company that essentially teaches companies how to do inbound for themselves. And that's evolved into endless customers because there's so much more than blog content that companies need to know how to do. So that's been the last 15 or 16 years in a nutshell.
Wonderful. Love that story. Hey man, it's been a great conversation. Appreciate you taking a few minutes here, sharing some of those amazing insights. Hope you'll join us again on INNSync, and hope you have a great weekend, man.
Yeah, likewise, Cory.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Picture before we jump off, Cory.
Oh yeah. Ready?